Hey everyone, welcome back to another daily recap. Now this is going to be a better than normal one just because in the last 2 days I have transitioned a huge amount as a trader. I've literally completely switched my setup basically, which I said I was never going to do, but I'll explain why, and it's for a really good reason. If you guys enjoy this video and other daily recaps that I post every single day, be sure to drop a like and subscribe because it really helps me out more than you probably think. But yeah, right before we get into this, I do have to say that these videos are not backed by MIC, my investing club. I'm just a member that makes these daily recaps and trading videos to help you and help me. And I think as I become profitable, these videos will really help you see how I became profitable and the things I had to overcome to do that. So let's get right into first my trade review stats for this month so far. As you can see, I mean it could be worse, but it's also not good at all. Blocking out this day, let's pretend that wasn't here, really bad. So good size red day, small green day, big size red day, small green day, fairly big size red day, and then finally I said that is enough, I'm losing too much. And even going into my month's trades, loss. There was a nice gain. There was a it was a fine gain. Loss, scratch, loss, scratch, loss. Like, it was mostly either losses or scratches. And so I was getting really frustrated. And yeah, so I said enough is enough. I'm done losing. Clearly what I'm doing is not working in this market. I know it works. I know it used to work because I was doing really good at my setup, which I'll explain for you that don't know right now. I play confirmation setups like death candle, stuff candle. This is a perfect example. Massive stuff candle, record volume. I short the bounce. In a lot of markets, they just fade and they die. That's like the kill candle. It's dead after that. In this market, like 90% of them seriously reclaim. Even though this looks really good to me, it reclaims. Now this is my mindset before, okay? So these are just some of my trades. Now this is a confirmation loss. Confirmation loss. Now that was this market's really hard to trade in, and along with a setup that doesn't really work in this market, I have done really badly and just mediocre. But I'm gonna go into some amazing trade. But yeah, just real quick, again going back into my stats, you can see this is my win rate for the past 2 months or 1.5 months, like really bad. Of course, it could be worse, and I'm managing my risk really well, never losing more than like $10-15. But yeah, I'm really keeping my risk in check, so that's good. So let's get into how I transitioned and my plans for the future. Clearly my setup wasn't working. The confirmations kept reclaiming, and so what did I do? I turned to MIC. So in MIC I asked, hey everyone, I'm wondering what short setups are working in this market for you guys. I focus on shorting confirmations like death candles and significant stuff confirmations, but I'm more unprofitable than ever. I keep getting trapped even though the confirmations seem good. I'm trying to decide if I should stick with this setup and keep losing and size down, and then once I start winning again I will size back up, or should I try other setups that better fit this market? And I also ask what setups are working for you guys in this market. This is why I love MIC. You can literally ask anything in after hours. 44 replies. 40 people wanted to help me, and trust me, like tons of the moderators, tons of members messaged me helping me because they know I've talked about my problems a lot in MIC, which is what you should do. And a lot of people know I'm struggling, and so they want to help. Seriously, MIC is the best. No other place you'll see this kind of support. But getting into some of the responses, I show my trades. Bao says, low-hanging fruit strategy works in every market. And I said in response to that, which is a common problem with low-hanging fruit, is I said, I know they work really good, but I have to risk so much to make just a small amount. If I'm risking, let's say, 50 cents scaling, I nail and bail. For a 20-cent gain, it does not seem good for risking my small amount. And I'm literally going to solve that problem for you guys later today in this video. Literally, one of the members helped me out so much with this, and it's going to be amazing for you guys to hear this. And I'll talk about that later with the trade example. Someone else said, I feel you on that. It's tough with those type of setups, the confirmations. For me, what works are low-hanging fruits. And with that, the day one runners that I focus on at open are outer lines only. This is another common thing that everyone says, outer lines, outer lines, outer lines. And I've always known that because often I saw that, let's go back into one of my trades. Often I saw that Bao was covering where I was shorting and he was already in the stock. So CWBR is a good example. Let me pull up a chart on it. CWBR, perfect example. So outer lines are, the resistance points. What I'm doing is shorting mid-range, and that sucks, especially in this market. In a good market for shorts, these confirmations do work really well. But let's see. This is Bao's strategy, okay? Pre-market, he sees this resistance point. Okay, I'm gonna simply put my short there. All right, bam, he gets wicked. He's in, and then he's covering right here at the support. He's shorting resistance, covering support. Instead, I'm trying to short the bounce that's mid-range to low range, and I'm getting squeezed back up because stocks are so trappy in this market, so you gotta be on the resistance. Size down on them for now. The algos need to have their fun. Nothing, and then the bear, really good trader. Nothing is fading, so that's why you're getting trapped. Every now and then the market cycle changes, so in my opinion, it's normal for this to happen. But still, you can take low-hanging fruits in the meantime and avoid day one if you can handle the drawdowns. And I said I will give low-hanging fruits another try. And again, I'm going to tell you someone who solved it for me. Someone's saying it's not just me. A lot of other people are having this problem. And then a lot of people just say the market's different now. Stocks aren't really dying as easily. Things are holding up. Low-hanging fruit first red day, nail bail. Someone goes over my trade versus James trade. So same thing on CWR, just like I showed you. I was shorting down here. They were shorting up there. You can see James trade. He was shorting the resistance point. He was shorting 215, which was a line right here, and 220, and covering where I'm shorting. So that's a perfect trade example right there. A lot of help. Harry, Xander, you're shorting too low, which is what I've learned. Bottom of the range, especially in this market, it just doesn't work. And then okay, Kevin says something really important here. Kevin says 90% of Bao's and Alex entries are above VWAP and closer to the top of the range. A lot of other people DM me and they really help me out. Like a couple of people we've done trader calls, like MIC is the best. But yeah, let's get into my first trade trying low-hanging fruit again, because I did trade low-hanging fruit right when I joined MIC, and I went on an 8-trade win streak, which probably tells you that something was working, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like 8-trade win streak, that's crazy. I thought I was set from there, but the market changes, and All right, so low-hanging fruit, really quickly, for anyone that doesn't know, which you should, you need to join MIC, change your life. But anyways, low-hanging fruit is where a stock has a day one extension, day one, the one that we should avoid. And then once they break down and they're dead, no one's watching them the next day, that's when you need to attack the pops, because the pops are just sold into, and there's not enough buying pressure to push it higher and higher in most cases. And someone in MIC has he basically just mentored me on what he does with low-hanging fruits, how he gets good risk reward, and just his overall setup. Now, this trade is not a very good example of what he taught me. I kind of went crazy here on the scaling, but it worked. Basically, the best way to filter good low-hanging fruit from bad low-hanging fruit, meaning less risky low-hanging fruit, is you want to be shorting around the red to green line. Okay, this is that line, where the stock closes the previous day. That's a very significant line, and the best low-hanging fruits are below that because they're really broken stocks. Let me go to a trade that shows that why, if a stock is above the red to green line, it can squeeze. Like, look at this. ORF. This was a low-hanging fruit, a lot of people thought, and I literally made plans on it that day too. But clearly, it's above red to green, and it squeezes, breaking high a day. So, the best low-hanging fruits are the ones where they are below red to green. That's the number one criteria. Now, going back to my trade, So I saw that this one was way below at the time of my first short. This one was way below red to green. Now, the guy I talked to in MIC, he was telling me how he gets one half-size starter in pre-market. I guess I didn't listen to him very well because I had 3 bullets pre-market. My plan was just to, first of all, these two lines right here, pure FOMO, okay? Pure FOMO. This short is where I should have started. I should have kept shorting and kept shorting, and then up from there, my plans were perfect. But these two are pure FOMO. But who cares, okay? I kept my risk in check, and I scaled accordingly, sized accordingly. But basically, he goes half size, 1 bullet pre-market, and then has another bullet after market open, usually whichever the next line is, whether that's VWAP or red to green. But in this, basically, he has a tight stop above red to green, and so he actually got stopped out on this huge wick. But then he re-entered, he re-attacked. So that's his strategy. And he could do that because he's above PT. But for me, I think I'm going to have to adjust by scaling more and allowing for a wider stop. And then maybe slamming and lowering my risk. So on this trade, that's what I did. I really liked this 7-10 line and the 7 line. And so I scaled all the way up from there. I did, these 2 bullets were FOMO again. But I did 665, 677, 687, 697, and 707. And the reason I do 7 cents, and not the even number is because a lot of the time, the stocks don't exactly hit that line. So I give it a little fudge factor. And so that's what MIC teaches. And so bam, 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 most bullets ever. This looks like a bow chart. This was crazy because right on market open, we went boom! And my stop was right here, and it rejected my final favorite line perfectly. And then I start covering along the way. What the MIC member that taught me this said is that the best covers are down at SSR line, which are, down here, I think at 6.4 or even a little bit lower. And so if I was patient and I listened to that advice, I would have gotten even better covers too. But again, this was my first trade, so I'm really going to be doing a lot of fine tuning. But this just shows the power of low-hanging fruit. So let me go over a trade that was very similar today. So we have Clove, okay? And let me go over my plans with this. So again, this one had a huge extension. Right away on market open, we kind of just broke and became broken. And then pre-market, again, we're below red to green, which is the #1 sign. Ideally, pre-market before, I wasn't going to make the same mistake that I made with Mogo. So this time I said, I'm going to wait till it pops to red to green, which was right here, this orange line. I'm going to wait for this pop, and I'm going to short that for half size pre-market, but we never got a pop. So my original plans were 8-9, 9, 9-10, 9-20 with a 9.35 stop. That's a lot of scaling again. And so I said, you know what? I can't scale that much. I got to get in the habit of waiting for longer lines. So I cut out my 8-9 line, and I said 9, 9-10, 9-20 with the stop at 9.35. And this is how I plan. You could see my plan right here. 20 shares, risking $15. Definitely would have made 1-to-1 at least on that. So that's how I plan with my calculator. And then market open, we have a little wash. And we perfectly hit my 8-9 line, which I remember I canceled my order, so I didn't play this. It went all the way down to SSR. But again, I would have had my smallest amount of size unless I added and lowered my risk. But I have a feeling I wouldn't have, just because I was scared of it trapping and running more. But yeah, so still a missed trade. Do I regret? I mean, you can never regret waiting for longer lines, I don't think. I mean, waiting, being more patient for your lines to be hit is never a bad thing, I don't think. But someone in my tag said to me was, when a low-hanging fruit washes out the open, then you can lower your lines. Remember to remove the top line, lower your risk, and just move one line down. And that would have done that for me there. So I'll be thinking about doing that next time. Other than CLOV, there weren't really any ideal low-hanging fruit. but really I want SSR to be my cover. I want red to green to be my short. And maybe in certain case scenarios, I scale above red to green with the stop over it. Again, I size accordingly. But ideally, the meat of the move, there's a lot of meat in between red to green and SSR. So you want a lot in there. You want a short, you want a cover, line to line. And as you can see, I already had my cover plans out here. Cover 30%, 50%, 20%. Over time, I'll be able to be more patient and wait for all out right here. But, right now I need to take profits for my mentality. So yeah. So, quick summary. I used to play confirmations like dead candles, stuff candles, shorting the bounce, which was either at the low of the range or the middle of the range. But I learned that I was just constantly losing because in this market, you really need to be outer lines and shorting at the top of the range, not the middle or the bottom, because stocks today are really trappy. So if you're down at support or mid-range, you're likely to get back up to resistance. And so you just need to be shorting a resistance with a stop above it. So that's what I learned mainly. After talking to a lot of people, I really liked a certain low-hanging fruit strategy. And so I tried that out and I was successful. So my plan going forward is to look for outer line setups and also low-hanging fruit setups that are really ideal, that give me a lot of meat between the red to green line and SSR, so I can short and then cover line to line. And for outer lines, I'm looking to short resistance, cover, support. I really want to be shorting the resistance and covering where I used to be shorting. I don't want to be shorting where Bao, Alex, all the mods are covering. So yeah, a lot in this video. I have a feeling it's 6 p.m. My internet sucks. I don't think this video is even gonna upload tonight. It's probably like over 2 gigs. But you guys are seeing this right now. I hope you enjoy. Be sure to like and subscribe. Please turn on post notification bells because I post daily recaps and videos like these every single day. And I'm really glad all this happened. I knew I said I was never going to change my strategy, but clearly I gave it a month's time. And clearly this market is not the type of market to short confirmations. It's the type of market to short outer lines and resistance. So I hope all of you, MIC, and other people can take something from this video. So I will see you all later. I am losing my voice.